This is Kathryn Ogawa of P3 Connect. Welcome back to our series on creating an employee form. Let's get started. The form position information is what we're going to create today, and I've already created it to show you what it is that we're hoping to achieve here. What I have is a drop-down list box on the page, and this is connected now to a SharePoint site. From that site, I'm able to choose a position that's already loaded and retrieve the salary for that particular item. The site, if we go and have a look, looks like this. It's very simple. For those of you who know SharePoint, this is Windows SharePoint Services, and I'm running the 2007 version because that is what I have available in Windows SharePoint Services at this stage. Now, 2010 will be released next year. In 2011. A bit confusing, isn't it? Windows SharePoint Services will upgrade to SharePoint 2010 in 2011. That's if you're in Australia. Now, our simple list simply has a position and a salary that goes with that position for use in our InfoPath form. You can expand this out and bring in as much information that can be pre-populated into the form by adding new columns here. This is a very simple list, as I said. So let me just quickly show you how to add that in case you're starting from the very beginning with InfoPath. So in Site Actions, you would do Create a new list or library. And we want a list. Choose Custom List from the Create menu. Give your list a name. New employee form demo, and I'll display this list on the quick launch, yes, and we'll choose, and let's go again. So we're going to ask people to choose a position from a drop-down list. As you can see, this has been tidied up from where we left it before, and all the fields now reflect items that are already on the page. So current job has a field called current job right there. And this already has a data connection. I'm just going to delete the data connection. Go in data connection. I'm going to remove that one and I'm going to re-add it just to show you how to do it. So it doesn't have any secondary data connections loaded in this form at the moment. Let's go ahead and create them. You can see up here, you only have the option of My Fields, which is coming from the fields that have been populated on this page already. So data connections, you click on there and you click Add. And we're going to create a new connection to receive data, and it's coming from a SharePoint library or list. As you know, I copied that before, so I'm going to do Control-V to paste it, and Next. And it's connecting to my Windows SharePoint Services site. And it's already found the list position that I need because that was the URL that I actually pasted in. I'm going to choose position title and salary. The ID field comes pre-populated with the SharePoint list. And we won't need any of this other data that is also coming out of the box already created in the SharePoint list. So that's enough to keep us going. We're going to sort it by position, title, and next. And we're going to store a copy of the data in the form template, next, and automatically retrieve data when the form is opened, and finish. There we have it, our new data connection. And if you were watching and you saw that quick flicker on over to your right, you would have noticed a change over here. So now where we previously just had the My Fields and no other options, we now have the option of, from this drop-down list, of the main data source, the source on our page, or this new one that we've just added, the position data source. It's automatically created query fields and data fields. Now for this form, we're going to actually save the data in the form. So choose a position. Therefore, we need to put some text boxes to actually capture that metadata. So let's drop a text box on the page from the Home tab. I'm going to right-click and change that to a drop-down list box. Now I'm going to right-click again and go drop-down list box properties, give it a name, choose position. And this list box is going to get choices from an external data source. There's only one connected to this form, so it automatically picks that external data source up, which is position. And it automatically populates the entries from the right place, from the data entries. And as you see here, the value is coming from something called title, and you know that we changed that, but it's still being recognized as title. So out of the box in SharePoint, remember that column was called title previously, and it's still being recognized under that name, position title, but it is collecting from the right place, and it's going to display the items in that column for us. Click only unique display names in case I have double entries in there, and apply. This template. So what I might do is just cancel out of that and delete these old ones. Stop. The next field, for example. So let's say apply and click OK. So there you have our choose position is now calling the SharePoint list and finding all of the elements in that list and in the title field and putting it into our drop-down list box. Now, I'm going to populate the form, salary, with the data that's in the list. So again, I add a text box, and I'm going to right-click onto that text box, and I'm going to give this a value. Firstly, I'll give it a name, salary. Click on the value FX. Click yes, and insert a field or group. As you know, we're getting this from our secondary data source, so I go up into these fields and choose position, which is our secondary data source. Under data fields, I want to drill down there until I hit salary. However, it won't know which salary to actually populate into the text box, so I need to filter the data by adding a filter whereby the position title from our secondary data source, that column there, is equal to, and here we specify that it's coming from a field or group in our form in the main data source called choose position, and click OK. So all we're doing is a data match. We're taking the column from the SharePoint list, which is called position title, and we're matching it to what's been selected in the choose position box on the main InfoPath form. Right, let's click OK and see, and keep clicking OK to send all those boxes away. Apply, OK, and there you go. Now to tidy up a bit, I'll do a right click here, borders and shading, and say that I don't want any borders, and that will just show on the screen, and I don't want any shading. So no color. Okay, now we can add one more field to the form, and we'll make it a start date. And this is something that I want the user to enter into the form. It will be a date picker. There we go. I'll right click, date picker properties, give it a name, start date, and the value will be empty, and apply. And I'll just resize that by dragging it. There you have it, and I'll delete this extra row that we don't need by right-clicking, select and right-click, and then delete row. Right, so this is pretty much where we started. We're back to there. Let's just test it by doing a preview and see if it all works for us. Yes. Right. So from the choose a position box, I can do the drop-down list, and you can see it's now selecting from that list that we created, .NET Developer, Database Administrator, and so on. Let's choose .NET Developer as the position, and the salary is coming in from the SharePoint list exactly as it appears, and drop in a start date, which might be today's date. Now, As you can see, the salary we need to do some formatting on that. That's not very nice looking. It really needs to have a currency symbol, and in Australia we use the comma separator, and we don't want all those zeros to appear. I'll close preview again, go back into the salary field, right click, text box properties, and here we have the formatting options. We'll format this as a decimal double, click format, choose currency, it's already set to Australian currency, number of decimal places, and we will use the comma digit grouping symbol. Okay, much better. And that's it. So that ends this section on creating a SharePoint list and then bringing the information from that list into the form. I hope you've enjoyed that, and if you have any questions, please contact me through www.p3connect.com.au.